Andy Scott, it's been quite a first week of the season. How do you reflect?
Obviously very pleased with the results and especially the performances. Everything's gone really well, and far better than we could have anticipated given the circumstances. But we're still, wary of things that could go wrong, and we're not going to rest on our laurels and expect think that we've cracked it, because we knew there'd be teething problems, and there still may be, and we've got to keep working as hard as we have done to make sure that we continue in the form that we have done.
And 7 days ago, nobody quite knew how it was going to pan out, really. So I guess it seems that the team have exceeded your expectations. I think all the fans have as well.
Yeah, well, we knew the quality of the players that we got, but you never know how they're going to gel, and fitness-wise, and you're looking at the games coming thick and fast, especially in the first week, and but the energy levels have been fantastic in the first 2 games. They recovered very, very well from Saturday's game, and obviously a long trip up to Grimsby. And we've played 2 teams, that finished in the top 8 of the league. And then obviously we've got Cambridge on Saturday, who again are one of the favourites for promotion. So when we looked at the fixtures, we knew it was going to be a very tough start. But I think that the football that we've played and the way that we've performed has been very encouraging for everybody, and especially with the knowledge that we can get better once we get some actual work on the training ground.
And I hesitate to suggest that there could possibly have been an easy start in this division, but has that tough start almost been a positive?
Well, it has, given the results and the way that we've played. I don't think that we've got anyone to fear in the league, and I went to Welling and Cambridge last night, and it's a very competitive league. You have to be very consistent to make sure that you continue the form that you're in, and Welling and Cambridge had a hard-fought game last night, and Halifax lost on Saturday, and then they went and beat Wrexham. So everyone can beat everyone else, but you've got to make sure that your consistency stays good, and you can keep playing the way that you want to play. I want to play the way that we have done the first 2 games. I don't want to change what we're doing. I think that we've got players that can cope with playing that formation against anyone, and use our attributes, and but we need to work on some bits, and we haven't done realistically anything on set plays yet, and there's some patterns of movement that we want to work on, and we're looking at videos all the time to make sure that we can show players, because it's difficult to get them out on the training pitch, because rest is equally as important as training at the moment. So we're using different facilities to make sure that we get work into them, and it may be that we walk through stuff rather than training at full pelt, because we need to make sure we're ready for games.
Yeah, and I think the conversation amongst the fans seems to have been, I think people have been trying to work out what's impressed them most. The defence has looked really solid, the midfield has been dynamic and creative, the strikers hard-working, maybe haven't always got the rewards that they deserve, but I think people are struggling to find the thing that has impressed them most.
Well, that's the good thing. We've got a team, and defensively we defend from the front. The front 3 work extremely hard. Midfield 3, shut down, and the back 4 have been excellent. And we should realistically have 2 clean sheets, but we've got players that defensively they want to keep the ball out the net, and they're determined to make sure that happens. And midfield players who can defend as well as create. And we've got plenty of energy about us, so all those units are fitted together very well. But we've got to temper that with the fact that you look at the bench, and we're only average age of 18, and we had 2 17-year-olds on the bench. We're very, very thin on the ground, and realistically we need a couple of more bodies in, and that's there's some areas that we need to strengthen, and we just need maybe a couple of different attributes in our team that we haven't got at the moment, to make us stronger, and we need to do that, because if we sit back and think that we've cracked it, and then all of a sudden we get a couple of injuries, then it changes the momentum of it, and we want to keep the feel good factor. We want to make sure that we keep improving and keep strengthening and go from strength to strength. But that's something for me to discuss with the board and see where we are financially. But the fact that nearly 2,200 people came along on Tuesday night was very encouraging, and that's going to help. Certainly seeing a win and a clean sheet and the goals scored and chances created and the good football that we've played, hopefully that will attract more people for Saturday, and that will enable us to bring more players in.
And that was another thing that people commented on Tuesday, that the atmosphere felt really good, really positive. The East Bank was in good voice, and it's something that people didn't hear much of last season.
Yeah, it was great. It was great. Night games are great, and it makes the atmosphere even better. But when the fans are behind you, and we can only expect the fans to get behind us if we're giving them something to shout about. And I think that we certainly did that, and they responded. And then it's you bounce off each other, and the players responded to the noise, and the fans responded to what the players were doing. So we want to keep that unity. We want to keep that relationship between us and the fans, and they appreciate all the noise that was made. All the players went over to the fans and made a point of the fact that they appreciated it, and that's what we want to do for the rest of the season. But we can only expect that sort of atmosphere if we put on a performance, and that's what we're going to try and do every week.
And you personally seem to be enjoying the challenge as well. Some people maybe wouldn't have blamed you if you'd walked away in the summer, but you've stuck around and you seem to be really up for the challenge.
Yeah, I think that there's times in your life where you've got to make a decision on what you want to do, and I just felt this was an opportunity. When I first came to the club, I think it's a fantastic little club. Obviously things that were going on behind the scenes, I didn't really have much knowledge of, and was put in a position, but the fact that this is still a great little club is something that hadn't changed at all, no matter what happened behind the scenes, and I knew that we could always go back to that, and seeing the fans and the way the club was looked at and looked upon by other people when they got promoted under Gary Waddock was something that encouraged me, and I want to be part of a group that brings the feel-good factor back to Aldershot and brings the fans through the gates and gets everyone smiling. And that's why I want to put a team out there that play attractive football and have got quality and work hard and have all the attributes of someone that if you took them off the East Bank and put them on the pitch with a red shirt on, they'd do everything they possibly could to make sure they would win the game, and that's a passion that we've got to have inside our players. And all the players know that. As soon as they walked through the door, they knew what was expected of them this season. And I want to work hard. I feel that I've got a bit of a point to prove. I've achieved quite a lot early on in my career as a manager, and for whatever reason, things haven't gotten right in the last couple of last couple of jobs, and all of a sudden, from being talked about as one of the next best young managers come in, 2 years later you're on the scrap heap, and you've got to find a home, and you've got to find somewhere where you're comfortable and where you think you can improve, and I do honestly think that this is the place for me to build a squad for us to achieve something. Hopefully start this year and then push on from there on and rebuild all our reputations, the clubs, mine, players, everyone, and we've all got a point to prove, and if we've got a common goal in that, then we can be successful.
And finally, you went to see Welling Cambridge last night. Cambridge here at the EBB Stadium on Saturday will be another tough game. They're another of the teams who will maybe fancy themselves to be up there and thereabouts at the end of the season. Without giving away your game plan, what did you learn?
Well, they're a strong side. They can change it. They've got strength in depth. Got very good support. They were supported very, very well throughout the whole game, and bring a big crowd with them, so that's going to help. They've got areas where I think that we can get them. But to be honest, I'm going to look at games because I'm interested in the way that teams play. I'm interested in how teams set up away from home and at home, and how different teams play. I've seen Welling a couple of times last year in the Conference South, and they were very good. And equally, again, yesterday I thought they built into the game and they were very good. But Cambridge have had a win and a draw now, and. I'm not worrying about other teams. I'm making sure that we're set up properly and we know what our jobs are. But also, if I can give information to our players about weaknesses in the opposition and obviously their strengths as well, then we're going to be more knowledgeable about the game. And we're all learning about this level as we go on. Unfortunately, I've been watching a lot of football at every level, so I know most of the players and know how teams play. But of course, you need to keep up to date, and I'll keep doing that, and we go and watch lots of games from all levels to make sure that A, we can bring players in that we need to, and B, that we're aware of the teams that we're playing. So I'm looking forward to Saturday. I think that it's very, very important that people don't get carried away with our start. We need to keep our feet firmly on the ground and make sure that 7 days ago we would have been going to Grimsby delighted if we'd got a team out there. We've had 2 positive results and 2 very positive performances, but there's still a long way to go, and we are focusing on the job in hand in every game, and if we can build on what we've started, then everyone's going to be very pleased with that. But it hasn't changed. There's still going to be blips and things that go wrong along the way, and but we've got to be prepared for that and battle through and stick together and be confident in our ability and what we can do.